Baruch Spinoza was a 17th century Dutch philosopher who tried to reinvent religion, moving it away from something based on superstition and ideas of direct divine intervention to being a discipline that was going to be far more impersonal, quasi-scientific, and yet also, at times, serenely consoling. His fully fleshed out views were to be expressed in his great work, The Ethics. In The Ethics, God is not a person who stands outside of nature. There is no one to hear our prayers or to create miracles or to punish us for misdeeds. There is no afterlife. Man is not God's chosen creature. The Bible was only written by ordinary people. God is not a craftsman or an architect, nor is he a king or a military strategist who calls for believers to take up the holy sword. God doesn't see anything, nor does he expect anything. He doesn't judge. He doesn't even reward the virtuous with a life after death. Every representation of God as a person is a projection of the imagination. Remarkably, Spinoza did not declare himself an atheist. He insisted that he remained a staunch defender of God. God plays an absolutely central role in Spinoza's ethics. Spinoza's God is wholly impersonal and indistinguishable from what we might variously call nature or existence or a world soul. God is the universe and its laws. God is reason and truth. God is the animating force in everything that is and can be. He is not in time and he cannot be individuated. Spinoza writes, "Whatever is in God, and nothing can exist or be conceived without God." To understand God traditionally means studying the Bible and other holy text, but Spinoza now introduces another idea. The best way to know God is to understand how life and the universe work. It's through a knowledge of psychology, philosophy, and the natural sciences that one comes to understand God. In traditional religion, believers ask special favors of God. Spinoza proposes instead that we should understand what God wants, and we can do so in one way above all, by studying everything that is. By reasoning, we can accede to a divine, eternal perspective. Spinoza writes, "The wise man, the person who understands how and why things are, possesses eternally true complacency of spirit." Needless to say, these ideas got Spinoza into very deep trouble. He was excommunicated from the Jewish community of Amsterdam in 1656. The rabbis issued a writ known as a sherem against the philosopher. It went, "By the decree of the angels and by the command of the holy men, we excommunicate, expel, curse, and damn Baruch der Spinoza with all the curses which are written in the book of law. Cursed be he by day, and cursed be he by night. Cursed be he when he lies down, and cursed be he when he rises up." Spinoza was forced to flee Amsterdam and eventually settled in The Hague, where he lived quietly and peacefully as a lens grinder and private tutor till his death in 1677. The Ethics is one of the world's most beautiful books. It contains a calming, perspective-restoring take on life. It replaces the god of superstition with a wise and consoling pantheism. And yet Spinoza's work failed utterly to convince any but a few to abandon traditional religion and to move towards a rationalist, wise system of belief. The reasons are in a way simple and banal. Spinoza failed to understand, like so many philosophers before and since, that what leads people to religion isn't just reason, but far more importantly, emotion, belief, fear, and tradition. People stick with their beliefs because they like the ritual, the communal meals, the yearly traditions, the beautiful architecture, the music, and the lovely language read out in synagogue or church. Spinoza's Ethics arguably contains a whole lot more wisdom than the Bible, but because it comes without any of the Bible's supporting structure, it remains a marginal work, studied here and there at universities in the West, while the traditional religion that Spinoza thought outmoded in the 1670s continues to thrive and convince people. If we're ever to replace traditional beliefs, we must remember just how much religion is helped along by ritual, tradition, art, and a desire to belong. All things that Spinoza, despite his great wisdom, ignored at his peril in his bold attempt to replace the Bible.